South Korea is at a standstill as some 550,000 high school students take their SATs. What's the latest here?
It was an unusual Thursday in South Korea. Flights were halted, trains and cars slowed down. The army stopped its exercise.
This is taken extremely seriously in South Korea.
안녕하세요, 원다입니다. 지난 13일 2026학년도 수능이 치러진 가운데 수능 시험을 전폭적으로 지원하는 한국 사회만의 독특한 조치가 세계의 이목을 집중시켰습니다. AFP-통신, 로이터-통신, 영국 BBC, 미국 ABC, 인도 퍼스트포스트 등 많은 외신들이 한국 사회가 긴장감 속에 수능을 치르는 모습을 관심 있게 조명했는데요. 특히 수험생들을 위해 준비된 여러 가지 배려사항들을 소개하며 한국에서 수능 시험이 얼마나 중요하게 다뤄지는지에 대해 놀라움을 표했죠.
South Korea is at a standstill as some 550,000 high school students take their SATs. The country delayed the opening of the stock market, delayed flights, even closed shops to reduce noise. The test can determine where students go to college, their job prospects, income, where they'll live, even future relationships. What's the latest here?
Yeah, a lot riding on those exams. It's close to midnight in South Korea, but those students did take the toughest marathon session exam of their lives today. The annual Suneung saw aeroplanes coming to a halt at some stage. Police were on standby to escort students to the annual college entrance exam. We know in the United States and in other places, there's a lot of pressure on kids to get into good universities, but you could argue that this is on a scale that you don't see in anywhere else in the world. There were 550,000 students taking part. That's the highest number in 7 years, and for most, it is still a marathon 8-hour-long test, but for those with extra needs or disabilities, it can go up to 13 hours. We're talking stock markets, which are typically open from 9 a.m. till about 3:30 p.m. They even opened an hour later to ease morning rush hour traffic, and they even closed an hour later too. A total of 140 flights, including 75 international services. They were rescheduled about over an hour, so to avoid distractions. So this is taken extremely seriously in South Korea.
미국이나 다른 나라에서도 좋은 대학에 가기 위한 압박이 있지만 한국은 그 압박의 정도가 세계에서 보기 힘든 수준이라고 단언하는 미국 ABC 뉴스를 반박하듯 퍼스트포스트 방송은 한국의 수능 문화에 대해 조명하며 중국과 인도 역시 대학 입학 시험에 대한 엄청난 사회적 압박이 있음을 전하는데요. 특히 가장 중요한 건 시험 성적표에 적혀진 점수가 아니라 인생이라는 진짜 시험을 잘 치러내는 것임을 시사해 공감을 자아냈습니다.
It was an unusual Thursday in South Korea. Flights were halted, trains and cars slowed down. Trading was delayed by 1 hour. Businesses opened late. The army stopped its exercises and the residents gathered on the streets. Do you know why? Because it was exam day in South Korea, the day of the Suneung. This is South Korea's annual college entrance exam. It may sound like a simple affair, but mind you, nothing about it is ordinary. Over 500,000 people sit for this exam every year. For them, it is do or die. At least in the rat race of education, this exam is considered life-defining. It defines which colleges you go to, what jobs you get, how your career takes shape, and even who you marry.
Well, this exam has been a goal to achieve for nearly 20 years of my daughter's life, and it can be another beginning of her life too. She's studied so much and gone through a lot to get here. I hope she can show everything she's worked for today and get great results.
The exam itself is 9 hours long. It includes questions on maths, history, science, Korean language, and English. 9 hours. These questions are prepared for days. A team of professors and high school teachers write them. They come from across the country. These teachers first meet up in a secret location. It's mostly a sparsely populated region of South Korea. They must first surrender their cell phones. Basically, they must be cut off from the world, and then the prep work begins. So a 9-hour-long exam, multiple topics, hundreds of questions, and the whole of South Korea, the entire country coming to a standstill. Imagine the pressure on students. The South Korean education system is already very competitive, both inside and outside school. In 2022, South Koreans spent $20 billion on private education. This is just on tuition and not school fee, $20 billion. And it's just to get a good score in this exam. This would be overwhelming for anyone, so imagine the pressure on teenagers. The fallout is evident and often ugly, especially in teenage depression and suicide rates. The reason behind this was mental illness. Many blame South Korea's cutthroat competitive education system for this. Here, you either make it or you don't. There's nothing in between. Those who cannot make it often resort to drastic measures. And this culture is not unique to South Korea. Look at China. Every year, millions of Chinese students take the Gaokao. It is called the world's toughest exam, a single test that decides which university you can go to. And in many ways, the life you can lead after that. Families move cities for it. They spend millions on tuition. Some students study for 12, even 14 hours a day. For many, it's not just an exam, it is a national obsession. And here at home in India, we are no strangers to this kind of pressure. Every summer, entire neighborhoods hold their breath for board results. Relatives turn into examiners. Mark sheets become the status symbol. And then come the competitive exams, JEE, NEET, UPSC, CAT, CLAT. Each one of these is a battlefield of its own. Students move to coaching hubs like Kota. Billboards show the faces of toppers. Families believe a single rank can change their fortune. And failure feels like the end of the world. As of May 2025, at least 14 students' suicides were reported in Kota. But it shouldn't be that way. Yes, exams are important. They open doors. They build character. They reward hard work, but they should never define who you are, because a score cannot measure potential. A degree cannot capture dreams. A failure in one test is not failure in life. India has produced scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, many of whom were never toppers in school. Some even failed their exams, but they found success in their own way. There's more to life than ranks and report cards. There's creativity, courage, character, things that no exam can ever grade. So to every student out there, study hard, give it your best, but do remember your worth is not written in your mark sheet. It is written in who you become after that, because the real test is life itself.